man. I am in Brazil. I'm Dr. Nehemiah Mabry. You're in the right place. This is the place where we inspire, we speak to some of the most inspirational and creative people in the STEM community. I'm super excited, man, because this is like the third time that we're going to be trying to be going from both IG and YouTube. So if you've never been to STEM Media's YouTube page and you got a computer right next to you, go ahead and go to YouTube, type in STEM Media, STEMEDIA, and go ahead and hit subscribe, like the current stream. Let me know how it's vibing with you. Hope everybody's doing well. We're trying to make sure we get to more platforms. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to make sure we get to more people so they can see all of the inspirational and creative people that we bring on the STEM Media Live. Let me know how you feeling. Give me the number 1 if you're feeling good. Give me the number 1 if you're feeling good. You know what I mean? Give me the number 2 if you just alright in the comments. Give me the number 1 if you're feeling good. Give me the number 2 if you're feeling alright in the comments, man. I'll tell you one thing. I'm feeling really, really good because I got a great guest coming on. Oh, man. Abdul Gieballa, he's going to be coming in. Abdul Gieballa is going to be coming on talking about creatively leveraging AR and VR. And I'm telling you, man, this guy's creative. He's the essence of what I would call a technical creative. And so I hope you all are looking forward to learning something from him. I am in Brazil. 1. I love it. I love it. Let me see some ones, man. If y'all feeling good, give me a 1. Give me a 1. Give me a 1. Yes, Jules the cat. Good to see you. I'm glad you're feeling all right. I'm glad to see that 1. Good to see you at 1. 2. We got a 2. Jen says 2. All right. Well, listen, man. I just want y'all to know this is going to be great. This is STEM Media Live. We do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Our guest today is actually joining us from the Pacific Coast. Teresa, good to see you. I'm glad you're feeling good. Thanks for the 1. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. But check it out, man. STEM Media Live is brought to you by the STEM Media Network. STEMmedia.com, you can find exclusive interviews, videos, courses, and so much more to empower your STEM journey. So I want you all to go there. And if you just happen to be a person, let me just say this real quick. If you happen to be a person that's a little bit confused about where your purpose is in the realm of STEM, you're like, yo, I got to this field. Everybody said I should go into STEM. All right, I'm pursuing this degree, or I just got my degree. I still don't quite know where my niche is. Then I want you to go and click on the link in our bio on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, hop over to Instagram, go click on the link in our bio, and we will be able to send you the very first step in engineering your purpose, the very first step to finding your place in STEM. But anyway, that's for a later time. Tonight, I'm excited because I'm about to bring you all our guest of the evening. Oh man, this gentleman and I have been connected for a little bit. He goes by the name of Abdul Gieballa. He is a Sudanese-American entrepreneur and founder of Innovate Technologies Incorporated, a virtual media and marketing production company that is blurring the lines of reality. Blurring the lines of reality. I gotta get some hearts. I like that tagline. Blurring the lines of reality. Innovate Tech leverages virtual and augmented reality technology to create immersive and interactive experiences and unique digital marketing solutions across a multitude of industries. Driven by a sense of equity, Abdul hopes to inspire STEM scholars to rethink convention, fortify purpose, and preach group economics to uplift underrepresented minorities via technology. The 25-year-old Los Angeles native is a person who enjoys traveling, sketching, and trivia during his downtime. So this is what I need y'all to do. Teresa, I need you to do this. Stacy, what's up? Stacy G, good to see you. Y'all give me some hearts. Let's get some love going. Let's get some energy going because we're about to bring our guest, the man of the hour to STEM Media Live for us this evening. And he is none other than Mr. Abdul Gieballa. Let's go ahead and welcome him now with some hearts, y'all. Let's see the hearts. Let's give him the energy. Let's give him love. Founder of as he comes on to join us at this time. Boom.
What's up, man? Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Abdul, there he is. You see the hearts, man. That's your applause, bro. That's your applause.
I appreciate it, man. All the love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad that you are here on STEM Media Live. Man, this is long overdue, as it is with a lot of my guests, man, but this is long overdue, and I just want to thank you really off the rip for taking this time, bro.
Hey man, all the pleasure is mine, man. I've been, like we've been planning this for a while, and finally it's come to fruition. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, too, love you guys.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do me a quick favor. I don't know if I'm on speaker. I think it's a little loud. I'm getting a tad bit of feedback from my voice.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I hear you perfectly.
Okay. I think I hear a little bit of myself too on this end, but we good. We're gonna keep rolling. Do me a favor, man. Let's break the ice a little bit, Abdul. We always ask this question right off the gate. We asked the question that you would please give us a random fun fact about yourself, something that person wouldn't expect to know after they heard their bio, man.
Man, random fun fact. Random fun fact. I would say, ever since I was a little kid, Michael Jackson. One of my
Michael Jackson?
Yeah, and so I'm a little tech guy, but I can bust out a new Michael Jackson impression.
Hey, the dancing and everything?
Dancing and everything. You name the song, I got the choreography.
Oh man, so you saying you got a little Beat It routine, you got a little Billie Jean routine up your sleeve?
Oh, for sure, man, for sure.
Awesome. Hey man, y'all give us some love, some hearts for that. You see the hearts coming, man. Mike, MJ is one of those things. That's like an automatic. You're gonna be in a finalist in the talent show. If you got a mean Michael Jackson impersonation and you enter a talent show, you definitely gonna be like in the top 3.
That's it. I mean, that's all I can do. It doesn't come more than that.
Yeah, man.
That's where it stops.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, cool. Y'all give us some heart, some love. Again, we're with Abdul Gieballa. He's about to be talking about just blurring the lines of the reality. But before we get into some of the deep technical stuff, man, let's go back, man. As your bio mentions, you're a Sudanese American. You're from Los Angeles. Give us a little bit of the origin story of you, man, and how you came to where you are now.
For sure thing. So really, my story begins in Khartoum, Sudan, which is the capital of Sudan.
Okay.
My family has lived in LA since the 80s. And it's actually really funny because when my mom decided to get married, she left the LA to go back to Sudan on vacation. Went back on vacation, ended up getting married to her brother's best friend, and that's how it came up to be. Yeah, it was just on vacation, and she went back and ended up getting married and having me. So I was like, man, you couldn't just stay here for a couple, ended up getting married here and could have given me the citizenship a lot earlier.
Yeah. Oh man, just that timing, man. Hey, you can't time love, I guess. You know what I mean?
You can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born in Sudan. My family was already out here.
Gotcha.
The majority of my intermediate family, my uncles, my aunts, my grandma, grandpa, all of them, they're already in LA. So by the time I was 2 years old, my mom and I, we migrated back here to LA. And actually, beyond just coming back to link up with family, I was born with a heart condition. So I was in need of medical attention. I needed to get open heart surgery. And I ended up having that successfully by the age of 3. And the rest has been history. But that's kind of our family story. We came out here. And it's crazy because my great uncle, who I'm named after, he actually passed away from heart complications. Wow. And my mom, she was pregnant with me during that time. So she named me after him. And then I was born out of nowhere with pretty much the same condition. So, they always say, history repeats itself, but God, all is good. Things are always good.
Yeah, man. And I guess in many ways, y'all got to give some love for that. Your legacy, continuing on, man. You as a child overcoming that. Yeah. But I mean, like to overcome that as a baby.
Ever since. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when being a little kid, and I would run a couple of meters, and then I'll have to stop because I'll have to catch my breath. And I always look around like, why am I not like the other kids? Why can't I keep up? Why can't I do this? And I think from a very young age, it kind of helped me develop that really competitive nature about myself where, from very young, I realized I just had nothing to lose. Everything for me from now on was for the taking. So I kind of, fostered that to everything I do.
Got you. Yeah, man. What up, Manny? What's up, Sonia? This is Abdul Gieballa. He is coming up from the West Coast, LA, Southern California, and basically your story, you're really coming to us all the way representing Sudan as well, man. So shout out to all of our people out in Sudan, all your people out, your family, wherever they may be. Tuning in, whether it's on replay or even live, man. So I'm glad to have you on. I think you're the first Sudanese American on STEM Media Live. So,
man, I love it. I love it. Hopefully not the last.
Yeah, definitely hoping not the last, man. So let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about, I guess, culturally, as well as like your interest into the world of tech and stuff like that. Like, would you say that like when you were younger, you were surrounded by a lot of that, family, whether it was back home or even here in the States, or was it something that you kind of sought out on your own? What was sort of your interest into the world of tech?
Well, it's a combination of a couple of things. I think it really does start off with family. I do come from a very well-educated family, from my parents to my uncles to grandparents. All of them were college educated. All of them had traveled the world to an extent before I was born. And so they were very, I was born Muslim, but our family is pretty liberal. And that comes in part with their level of education as well. So I was always surrounded by educated, elders. And for me, I grew up in the household with my mom and my grandma. And my grandma, in cultural families, the grandma is like the center of the household. She brings everyone together. So uncles, cousins, aunts, everyone's around. So I grew up in that house where it just seemed like I was at the epicenter of the solar system. Like everything was happening. I happened to be the oldest of my cousins. So I got the attention. I'm an only child, so I do get that spoiled attention. Yeah. So it was like growing up in kind of that environment where I am the oldest of, the younger generation. I'm always surrounded by elders. I have multiple uncles and aunts. So I get to see different perspectives from different people. So I didn't have to just draw from my mom and dad solely like other people do. I kind of had a village, literally a village raised me. So it definitely started off with family. And then it kind of transitioned into, just meeting, and having amazing mentors and teachers down the line from early education days. One person who's actually on here right now that I owe a lot of my success to is Nicole Brazil. Miss Brazil was my second and third grade teacher. Miss Brazil. Yes. She's been more than a teacher. She's a mom. She's a second mom. And she always would inspire us. Like she saw things in us that we really get at a young age. And she would be like, yeah, you guys are special. You guys are special. And then getting that reassurance over and over again, it really started to make you believe that. So it started with family, it moved on to educators, and then eventually it gets to a point where you start holding yourself accountable to that level of standard.
True.
You don't need people hounding you. You don't need people hounding you. Then it becomes like that's what you expect of yourself. That's what people see from you. So now you got to uphold that same level of standards. So that's kind of how I got into this idea of where I got a little bit more mature for my age at a quick pace, and then the love of STEM came from just my personal ambitions of when I leave this world, I want to leave with a legacy. I want to leave the world better than I found it. And so I remember specifically with Miss Brazil, she would ask me like, what do you want to do? Or like, who do you admire in this world and things like that. And I would name like, the Thomas Edisons, the Steve Jobs, the Bill Gates, the Michael Jacksons, or whatever. And at one point she was like, what do most of those people have in common? They were innovative in one way or another. They were inventors or creators or, they shaped the world using their, ingenuity. And well, I guess the blueprint is I got to be ingenuitive. I got to be innovative. I got to create something, new. And compile that with the studies. I was always a strong student in math and science, and those were my passions. So then I'm like, all right, how do I start connecting the dots together? How do I bring in, things that I'm good at, things that I love, passions that I have, and kind of, create this narrative where I get to do everything I want to do. I really pride myself in being like a Renaissance man. Not necessarily a one specialist type or
just one trick.
Army knife.
There you go. Okay.
I'd rather be above average in a multitude of things than be a specialist at one. And so that opened up my curiosity to trying things I never really thought I would. So I would dabble and I was competitive. I wanted to be the best at everything. Someone can draw better than me, I'm going to go draw better than them. Someone wants to play basketball, I'll play, someone, that exam. It was just that competitive nature in terms of.
You're driven, self-motivated, man. Self-motivated, yeah.
And then kind of started falling in love with a little bit of everything that I did.
Yeah.
And so when it came to choosing STEM or choosing a career or choosing whatever, it just felt like I was giving up too much of my, too much of me away by dedicating on one thing. And that's kind of what drove me down to the road of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, the flexibility that's there. Man, let me jump in and just kind of, well, first of all, shout out to Miss Brazil again. She much love to her from the start. She's go ahead. Y'all got to give us some hearts for sharing all that, man. You were dropping nuggets just in telling your story about, how you got to hold yourself accountable and really get driven and really strive to be the best, not because someone's pushing you, because there's an internal drive and internal motivation about that. I think that's really cool. So many times, Abdul, I think sometimes people run up against this whole, for lack of a better word, I'm really just going to say, literally ignorance or really not knowing what you don't know, right? And sometimes people have the motivation. I see people all the time, particularly in inner cities, that have the can-do attitude, that can figure things out, the brilliance, but sometimes access or just someone opening the door to them to say, hey, those skills you have can be applied to this world. I'm wondering specifically, like when it came to the world of virtual reality, augmented reality, and the stuff that you do now in your company, can you tell us who opened that door for you? Like who told you that, hey, that drive you have in sports, that drive you have in STEM in general, here's something you can do. How did that door get open for you?
Sure thing. So like you said, there are people who are talented. There are people that, are smarter, just gifted, that never get opportunities or, have that person that does motivate them to get in that point, or even just have the opportunity, pass by them. And I think that's really the unfortunate part. Like I said, and kind of that bio you read, my company's focus is equity, realizing that the world that we live in is not equitable. It is not equal. There are some
for everyone,
Some people are lucky. Like for me, I feel like I'm very fortunate that I got lucky with mentors and opportunities and people and things like that opened up opportunities and doors for me. And at the same time, I made my ambitions known. And I would say that's a little piece of advice. Make what you want known. You never know who's listening. Make it known. Malcolm X, in the autobiography of Malcolm X, he said, one thing he learned early in life, if there's something you want, you got to make noise. Because you don't make noise,
I read that same.
Nobody will ever know.
Yeah, that's at the beginning of this book right here. Boom. At the beginning of the book, man. I read it myself. Yep. He said his brother didn't get any food because he didn't make no noise. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I was just like, I just look at life with a lack of fear of rejection, of failure.
Yeah.
It's more of like, I really have nothing to lose. I have all to gain. So why not shoot my shot? Why not tell these people that I want to do this and that and that? And you never know who that person knows, and what opportunities come out.
But did you see it, man? I think did you see it? Yeah, did you see it one time on TV or something though? Like when you start saying I want it, like when was that first sample that you got of it that made you say like I want it? Like talk about that when it came to like specifically this tech world.
Specifically tech world. I did a little pet project back in my second year of college. Okay. And it was something outside of the classroom. I saw like a video on YouTube with some guy who made like a hologram out of like an inverted pyramid. And I was like, man, that's really cool. So I wanted to buy it. I went and saw what the price was, and I was like, all right, I can't afford that. I'm a college student. Like that,
I hear that.
That's not the budget. Financial does not cover that.
Right.
So I ended up reading a little bit more about the technique that was used to kind of generate that hologram. And I ended up going to Home Depot, buying the parts, got plexiglass, X-Acto knives and whatnot. And I was like, all right, I'm an engineer. I can't just be stating I'm an engineer and can't really be able to do anything with my hands. So I
right.
So I ended up making this replica of this inverted pyramid where you would have an image on a template from 4 different angles, all reflect. And in the center of the pyramid, you'll get this like comprised hologram, effect. So at that point, I was like, wow, that's really cool. But beyond, oh, it's cool and it's a gimmick or just showing people and then having them lose interest.
Right.
I was like, how could this actually be useful? How can
Yes.
this actually be used for solving real world problems? And immediately I'm thinking entertainment. I'm thinking, wow, imagine if this was scaled up from an iPad and a small inverted pyramid now to a television and a larger pyramid, or then like a Jumbotron and a larger pyramid,
Yeah.
And I was like, the Lakers play road games. Staples Center is probably empty. What if you sell an experience to have people fill those seats?
Oh, man.
Game,
okay.
Now
that's dope.
After we're there.
Right, as if they're there, yeah. Okay.
And that started kind of like getting my mind into like virtual reality. I'm like, you know what? Tech solves problems, and the only thing that exists that I saw with VR at the time was gaming. And I was like, the focus should be different. Like, this is such a powerful tool. It's existed for so long. You know, there's real life problems that can be solved if someone came about and was like, we should use VR for this. And that's what really
sparked your idea in your brain. So check this out, man. If y'all are watching this, y'all give me some hearts, give Abdul some hearts. He dropped a lot on it. Y'all about to get the first row seat to some of the ideas that are about to literally change the world, change the game. Abdul, brilliant man here. We're talking about VR, AR. Really quick, give me just a quick, for those who aren't aware, who may be in different fields, give us the definition of VR and AR, and then even like MR. I know people refer to that as well. So give us a quick definition, and I got some other questions real quick, but give the people who are just tuning in a brief definition of what these things mean.
Sure thing. So virtual reality is essentially taking a 360 space, your immediate environment, and being able to replicate that with having, degrees of freedom where you're able to look around inside this different location. Augmented reality, you kind of use 3D modeling that superimposes into your real life enviroment. Kind of like, I know, one was the most popular ones, like Pokemon Go. You have
Pokemon Go,
critter, on your desk. That's like one of the biggest things for AR. And MR, or some people call it XR, is a combination of the two. So imagine putting these rendered models in this artificial environment.
Yes. All right, so check it out, man. All right, y'all give us some hearts, give us some love for that. Abdul, we about to get into it, man, because I always think a lot too, and you got the expertise to actually bring some of this stuff to life. But I'm just thinking about now. Obviously, we've been going through this time of quarantine, all this social distancing has been taking place, and there are specific industries in the field of entertainment. You mentioned the NBA, artists who tour, right? Who sell out arenas, packed places. There are, houses of worship. There are all types of places where being close to people and being around people, being immersed among many people was inherent in what the experience was all about. However, now because of this virus and because of even potential viruses to come, sometimes that won't be as desirable and has a detrimental effect. So here's the thing, right? I think that you're in a particular place where you're able to literally bring these skills to these industries and create whole new experiences that ultimately not only save the industry, but really can deepen the experience and broaden the impact. So as opposed to selling tickets, as you just said, to, let's just say, 10,000 seat arena, you can sell courtside tickets pretty much to all 10,000 people.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So talk a little bit, let's go more into that a little bit of some of the things that you have, first of all, seen people do, because I know that you started to think of this, but what are some things that you saw actually people do that blew your mind? And then give us some ideas of some more things that you can see coming from this.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say the coronavirus has really brought up a unique opportunity. It's always like, it's very unfortunate that it took something of this magnitude or nature, where people are actually losing their lives, the most important, and saddest part about it. But at the same time, every opportunity where you get kicked down is another opportunity for you to rise. And, there's businesses that are going to be going out of business, but there's going to be new ideas and businesses that are going to, this is the start for them. And I think this is really where we take off, because of how useful our services and product are. With terms of the industries, like you said, like our company in general, we service 8 different industries. You know, we range everything from entertainment to real estate to education to private experiences like concerts or weddings. We do charity work. So it's all about how do you recreate those experiences, expand audiences, and increase levels of engagement. And with the coronavirus, where everyone is staying home, now you need safer solutions where people are not congregated physically. You want to replicate that real life experience, which I don't think will ever really be, you know, it will never replace that real feeling, but it's pretty close. And at the same time, it provides a way for people that never really get the chance to experience certain things because of limitations, whether they're financial limitations, whether they're physical, location-based limitations, or whatever. You open the door up for people to be a part of things that they never really thought they would be a part of. And on top of that, if you're able to monetize it and make money off of it, then you can really take it to the next level.
So what we're saying is, and you said it way better than I could. I don't even know why I tried, but you know, Beyonce, right? She could sell private concerts to tons of fans through AR.
Yep. And VR.
Or VR.
Yep.
So now, hey, come over. Beyonce's gonna be giving us a concert anyway. Sing happy birthday to us.
Exactly. And one of our pitch, I'm gonna use that as an example because I think this will really intrigues people's, you know, ideas. And then I'm gonna give you the flip side from the business aspect as to why it's lucrative for someone like Beyonce. One, imagine how, you know, like you said, Beyonce throwing on a VR concert. Beyonce easily could sell out the Rose Bowl, Staples Center, 100,000 seats, 20,000 seats. But now we put that front row. How many people can afford a front row Beyonce concert? Not many.
Right. Yeah.
Now, Beyonce is doing multiple shows across different places, you know, different locations. We can do one mega show that we record, whether we want to do a live stream or recorded, and we sell that one, you know, on stage front row seat experience to now literally infinite amount of people, or whatever our capacity is that we can handle on our servers before we crash out. You know, Beyonce might crash the internet. and now you really have expanded your audience. You've really expanded your audience beyond the walls of the venue. So now your profits, they've also now expanded because you can replicate that same one video to multiple unique users, and you can monetize each one of those.
It's just data at that point. It's data, you know.
It's data. And what people like, I you know, one of the biggest resistance that we kind of got pitching some of these ideas were, the entertainment industry is so caught up in a certain way. You know, there's so many hoops you got to jump to, you know, get to these people or have them overhaul what already exists. I was like, okay. At the same time, numbers speak volumes.
Right. Money talks.
The medium platforms that we have now. Yeah, numbers speak volumes. All the media platforms that we have now are either super saturated, or they're not built for the masses in terms of inclusion for everyone. They're not accessible and they're not affordable. So we tried to solve that using our VR and our AR tech, where now we want to get everyone involved. The two biggest knocks on virtual reality were equipment is too expensive for people to be a part of or enjoy and consume VR, and creators don't have an incentive to create on this platform because there's not enough people to consume their content. Now, our idea is we pitch to people like, hey, there's a new medium out there that you can use, you know, new levels of creation and let your creative juices run, right? And at every pinnacle part of history, you've had artists or content creators that were able to leverage technology in a new way that changes the game forever. You know, you think of Elvis Presley and the radio. You think of Michael Jackson and music videos. You think of like Drake and YouTube. VR. Streaming,
You're right. And all it takes is creativity, and it creates a whole new, like you said, whole new experience and literally a whole new industries.
not just business models, but like an entire new, now being a YouTuber, for instance, you mentioned YouTube, or blowing up on YouTube is a whole nother way of being an artist than getting a record deal and signing with somebody than it was, decades ago. So just 10 years ago, just to be honest. Yeah. So I have a couple of things to ask you, some other specific industries to ask about, but I want to get some questions in the comments. Shout out to people coming out. Sonia said J. Cole could do a personal concert. Yep, that would be dope. J. Cole, represented North Carolina. That's where we at. It's Lanine said, VR being so dope, and I agree with this question. I'm interested. What do you think prior to now has stopped it from like taking off? Because we have had the technology for a while. What do you think has stopped it from taking off?
Like I said, I touched on that in kind of what I said previously. Is the price tag for the average day consumer? Buying an Oculus or buying a Quest or buying an HTC Vive, they're just a little bit out of the budgets for people, especially for how new the technology is and the constant updates that come with it.
Yeah.
Two, there isn't a platform yet that has enough content that they can sell to people that really intrigues them. People want to see the exciting stuff. They want to see, sports. They want to see, really immersive things that, television is still not a bad option. Ultra HD and 4K is
still pretty good.
Great alternative.
Yeah.
Now, then you compile that with slow internet speeds where you might record the VR experience in 8K, but the playback is only less than 2K or just regular high definition. It doesn't give you that level of real immersion.
Right.
So people get fed up with it. And the content creators, they just don't have enough incentive because the business model doesn't exist for them to profit.
Yeah.
For us, what we do is we create that incentive where we show them, hey, you could take that power that you have, why just be the content creator where you can own what you create, have leverage on that intellectual property, you get to market and distribute how you want and monetize and be able to keep a larger chunk of that pie as the content creator and create these really immersive experiences that are inclusive for people and affordable for them so that now you got more people, that are involved in the space. There are more eyes. And then that brings in things where, revenue starts streaming from different places.
Yeah, yeah.
And the short-sightedness of people sometimes, they really don't see the value in things beyond the dollar amount, but the impact that platform will give you and that voice that it will give you is beyond what money can buy.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like no one wants to be the first person to the party. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be the first person to the party, but you also don't want to go when the party is like already popping, you miss all the fun. So it's like VR, AR, I feel like it's this party that clearly is getting started, but it's like everybody's like, hey, who's all there? You know what I'm saying? Let me know who all there right now. That's what's going on. But it's really going to take like some brave businesses as yours, and some brave brands like STEM Media. We got to talk, man, to just really go and actually show people that, no, this is where the party is at. Like, this is where the party is at. And then I feel like there will be just an avalanche of participation. And who knows? COVID-19 could have been the catalyst for all that. I really feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I would say is that what most of these larger businesses, I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but just in general, it has to be, what you do has to be beyond the profit, has to be beyond the dollar. It has to be about impact. You got to have something that really resonates with people. So even if your product is not the most top notch, people can really fall behind the mission that you have or what you're trying to accomplish. That to make $1 out of me. But if you're really trying to bring about impact and change, people start to gravitate towards it. They really start to notice what you're doing. And that level of currency is more valuable than dollar amounts.
Yes, yes. We got Abdul here. Y'all give him some hearts, give him some love. He's dropping some jewels. And, man, you've already demonstrated yourself to be an intelligent person in this field. So y'all give him some love. Give him some love. Let's see. We got people. Nick says, he just came in. He's been trying to design VR games for his Oculus. It's a shame there isn't enough games on that device. That's true, right? I guess there's still an open lane to come through it and make something for Oculus right now. Let's see. You can see VR changing sports arena now that we're in quarantine. Yep, we touched on that, Nick. Absolutely. My man, hip hop MD. He says, what are your thoughts on implementing VR in sports, especially fans not being okay? Yeah, no, definitely. I love it, man. Thanks for coming through. And since everyone brought up sports, we talked about that a little bit, how that will bring experience. Shout out to people on YouTube, replay. You, Abdul, and we'll touch on a little bit more, Hip Hop MD, but you are a person who I recognize, right? We've been in the community for a while, still creators, technical creatives, who I recognize was a big LA fan, not just LA fan, but Kobe Bryant. And if I just may go there a little bit, man. And obviously, you know, the year started off, even before this whole quarantine, on a really sour note with that, you know, with the loss and everything. And I remember that day when I found the news, when I saw the alert, and I started thinking about people I knew. You were one of the first people that came to mind. And I remember you shortly after that creating this augmented reality 3D model of Kobe Bryant. And I just thought, like, man, what a perfect way and a fitting way for someone like yourself to, one, pay homage, but also continue to, in a small way, just appreciate his presence. And so I'm wondering if you could just kind of talk a little bit about really two questions on that. One, you know, what you learned from Kobe Bryant, you know, maybe what he meant to you, just going back to sort of your personal drive. But two, how can we even maybe extend, in a way, someone's legacy and someone's presence using this technology?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, anyone that knows me knows the love I have for Kobe. The love I have for the Lakers. I mean, I love LA. LA is my heart, my home, forever will be. And, you know, I'm going to give you a little story because a little less than a year ago, we actually, as a company, got to work with Kobe at an entrepreneur event.
That's right. You got a video of you, like, giving them that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a really crazy story. I mean, I can't imagine that still happened.
Yeah.
It all started with just, he was doing an entrepreneur conference because, you know, Kobe post basketball was very business minded. So they had him on an entrepreneur, you know, event, and he was the keynote speaker. And very similar, you know, I come across it on social media, and I'm like, oh, I want to go to that. You know, that sounds really dope. Like, I would love to go hear Kobe talk about business. Again, check the prices, and you're like, my bank account has other plans. We can't.
Yeah, I know. The way my bank account's set up, I know that.
So at that point, the company was up and running for a little bit over a year. We started getting some traction, you know, some work under our belt. So I ended up shooting the organizers of that event a cold email. Just, hey, my name is Abdul. This is my company, Innovate Tech. You know, the event is sold out. You guys got Kobe. That's big. That's sell. Make sure you guys won't sell out. How would you like to make more money? How would you like to reach a larger audience? Maybe about a week later, I get an email. I'm at In-N-Out, get an email, and it's like, wow, this is really interesting. Can you tell me more? So I'm like, oh my God, they're interested. So I go back and I showed them some of the demos of like conferences and things that we did back, you know, in the past. And they're like, okay, we're on board. We want you to be a part of this event. So we ended up actually going to go shoot 3 days and got to work with Kobe for one of those days.
Oh man, that's dope.
It was surreal. It was surreal. And he was just, you know, dropping knowledge about how he talked about you got to differentiate between what you do and who you are. And he said, you know, being a great basketball player, anything that he does post basketball, everyone still comes up to him like, oh, that's Kobe the basketball player.
Yeah.
You know? And he was like, yeah, I was obsessive. I don't knock that part of my life. But he said, you got to remember that what I do is not who I am.
Wow.
You know, he was talking about how people were telling him about, you know, they can't imagine him retiring because he was just too in love with the game. And when he said he was done, he was done. And it really helped me kind of realize, like, you can compartmentalize certain passions and things throughout your life and really excel at them if you focus on those individual tasks at hand. And so when I got to meet him, he actually really gave me really great advice. I asked him a little bit about my company, and he told me that, you know, it's part of the journey. Being an entrepreneur is part of the journey. You don't know whether you're going to fail at the next point, but that's what makes it exciting. You know, and he was like, he's got to find a couple other people who are crazy enough like you, and
Yeah.
As long as you do it, something will come out of it. And it just felt like one of those moments where, God let me meet him at that moment where, it was such a surreal moment to have my idol literally, sit in front of me and kind of give me that advice was big time.
Yeah.
And that, the gift that kept on giving was having that project under our belt really opened up other doors for us. Because we had that name associated with us, we had that work under our belt, and people really started to see that, the potential of what we did for that conference with Kobe could be replicated for other events, and they really saw the utility of our VR, product and service. And so, I owe it to that event was huge for us. So that really opened a lot of doors.
Man, I love it, man. I love it. I didn't know that much of the story. I mean, like I said, I knew you were a Kobe fan. I knew that you had put out some work and stuff regarding them, but this is really dope. You had no idea, what was to come. But now you have that, like you said, that gift that keeps giving and that you can really hold on. I know that was a special moment for you, Abdul. And speaking again of just, I think this is inspiring of people who left legacies, people who did great things. Another, LA legend that, I think we lost last year, Nipsey Hussle, was someone who partnered with Idris Sandu. I'm sure you're familiar with him, with his store, the Marathon Clothing. And just to kind of segue into more other like uses of VR and AR, I think one of the things that was always noted about his particular store is that they leverage AR to really bring back that retail experience. And so I don't know if you have any stories connected to Nipsey. By all means, you can share that as well. But I also want to hear some more of your ideas of how, people are saying, AR, VR can actually save retail and other applications in that arena.
Absolutely. Let me just touch on a little bit about Nip. Nip was a genius.
Yeah.
When it comes to branding and marketing what he had, he was a genius, and he literally betted on himself. He had an idea and he said, I'm going to go about it the way I want to go about it. And I think I really look at that as inspiration for what I do as a business owner, because, you don't have to go the conventional routes, to be successful. If you know the value of what you have, you can dictate your storyline the way you see fit. And Nipsey was a very smart and strategic man, where he, always spoke about ownership, owning your content, owning your ideas,
intellectual property.
Because if you don't own it, you don't have any control or power over it. And going back to my company, being as a young Black entrepreneur, what is the difference between our communities and the other communities that are thriving in business and whatnot? The institutions that are set up the way they are, they kind of deprive us, or they make it very hard for us to retain ownership of our stuff, which indirectly means we have less control and power over our decision making. So Nip really inspired that in me in terms of being the owner of your craft, and number two, being the idea of group economics, and not just group economics in the sense of bringing the people around you, but also bringing people that would have not normally gotten opportunities to be part of things like this. So as a company, we just did our first, funding round this year. And instead of
congrats, man.
Congrats. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So instead of pitching to VCs, venture capitalists, and people with who've already been involved, like other investors, I look towards angel investors, one that looked like me, talked like me, came up from similar backgrounds, just to even allow those people opportunities to be a part of something like this, because they're the ones who, inspired me. They're the ones, I can't just be I got all this knowledge from y'all and I learned all these things and I used up all your resources and now I'm just gonna go hand my ideas over.
Right, somebody else. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, Nip really kind of helped me realize that, the importance of that. And I started realizing that there are some people that started falling in line and loving what we do beyond the product and beyond our services, but rather because of what we stood for as a company. And I think that says a lot. Then you go into applications like you were talking about for VR and AR in other industries. I touched on before that we service about 8 different industries.
Yeah.
And our idea is that there's utility for VR and AR in charity work. My grandma always used to say, if it's far away from the eyes, it's far away from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Wow.
you have, when you see, infomercials about Syrian refugees or, people in Flint not having water and things like that, it's one thing to hear it. But then it's also one thing to replicate that experience when you really see it in an immersive space. That kind of helps you bring out that empathy in you. So we go to nonprofits and non-orgs and we let them see the impact of, one, this can increase your fundraising efforts. This can bring more awareness. This can bring new levels of education because now you're in an immersive experience where you get completely transported to a whole different world.
Yes.
And you get to live that storyline.
Man, you are providing empathy. Like you're helping people to obtain empathy, because I think videos have been, traditionally powerful even in getting people to give when you're able to show pictures. But you're saying that instead of a video, you can take it to the next level where let me literally show you how it would feel to be this refugee. Let me show you how it literally feels to be this person who is sleeping outside right now, or whatever the need may be. And I never really thought of that, man, in nonprofit.
Absolutely.
That is pretty awesome, man. But so what about, again, what about going back to retail? And then I think somebody in the comments mentioned medical. Are those also other industries that you, like the medical field? I know training. What are some of the things in there specific that you've seen?
Yep. So yeah, we've done projects related to the medical industry. We would create immersive tours that would kind of give you I don't know if you ever watch Black Mirror, that really crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that was dope. I love the concept. Yeah, super great concept. Yeah.
So Black Mirror, I think one of their last episodes was called Bender Snatch, and it was kind of you decide the outcome. You have two different options to choose from. And you decide the outcome of what, how the story ends. So we use that in terms of the medical industry to kind of do training. We did work with in-home services for senior citizens, training for the the personnel that come and provide care for them. Where how do you handle certain situations? You're presented with a situation of, an elderly person falls from a couch, for example. What is the right way to handle that situation? So we showed them one option in VR that we record of the bad way to handle it, and then there's the right way to handle it.
Yeah.
So then they go throughout this training process, and based on their decisions, they get scored. They kind of have a rubric score of how knowledgeable they are to handle different situations. Another one that I've come across that we want to really put together with regards to the medical industry is Alzheimer's and dementia diagnosis. Using VR tours where you give them aids throughout to navigate these different options. And then going back from the beginning and removing the aids.
And see how they do.
How far? Yeah, exactly. How far can they get to the point that they were at? And then seeing if that has any correlation with if they start showing early signs of dementia and Alzheimer's.
Right, Alzheimer's.
Then you have potential training opportunities where you could do live surgeries and labs where a professor or a doctor might be out here in the States performing an open heart surgery, and you might have med students in Africa who are watching it as if they were literally in the room with him.
Right.
The applications, they go beyond the process. There's so many uses for it. And I think beyond just also providing for things like that, I also like to use our tech to open up people's minds and inspire. It also, travel is huge. Traveling is big, and traveling, it opens up your view of the world. It helps you understand cultures and the way the world operates outside of the bubble that and that you live in. And one of the things for traveling, it's everywhere I travel, I take my equipment with me and I try to record things that I come across. And I try to bring it back to show people who haven't been outside of their environments that there are worlds out there that exist. I'm not replacing the experience of traveling.
But you're bringing it.
It starts to spark something.
Right.
If you don't know what you don't know.
That's what I said. Yeah, you're bringing it to them in the best way that you can that you couldn't otherwise. You know, instead of a slideshow, you're like, hey, come into the room, put these on, and you can actually get a little better experience. I remember going to different places. I think the Space and Rocket Center, NASA has this place where you can go and kind of experience being on Mars, and you feel the terrain right on Mars. It's really cool. So that's what I'm thinking about, man. I have one more question. I thought it was a really good question by somebody in the chat, and it touches on ethics a little bit, Abdul. And I guess it has to do a little bit with the fact that, okay, what if a person begins to take, or do you worry about people sometimes taking something serious, such as someone's trauma or even like, let's say surgery for real, right? And sort of start to look at it as entertainment, like, and it begins to get exploited. You know, where do you think, I'm asking it kind of this question in a different way. One, do you worry about, that was the question. But two, where do you think we draw the line between making someone's experience entertainment, who for them it is real, but it's like, hey, let me go and, for instance, Sudan has had a lot of like things that went on in the past, you know, I would say maybe 10 years that have been kind of horrific. Like, how do you think about that, the ethics of all of that?
Absolutely. I try to, me personally, you know, anything that's out of my control, I try not to like worry too much about it, because if I don't have control over it, you know, I really can't, I can't change the way people perceive certain things. Rather, I can just control the intention that I hope to come across. And with anything that you do, there's always going to be, someone that's going to utilize what you have for something negative. That's just the nature of things. My argument would be, you know, we will try to be conscientious of everything that we do from an ethical standpoint. But our main objective is that we realize the benefits and the positive impact that we have will be far greater than any of the negative aspects in terms of the ethics behind it. You know, there's, you know, you think about the internet and, you know, all the amazing resource that it is, and the doors that it opened up for people and opportunities. You know, and there are people who use it for, you know, identity theft and things like that. That's just that's part of what it is. There's always a
scamming.
There's always two sides to a coin. You know, what I say is that as a company, as a company and the leader of the company, is I try to instill certain morals in the company that you know, foster a sense of integrity, a sense of empathy, a sense of understanding and awareness, and then also a sense of responsibility. You know, not saying that we're going to do everything perfectly, but even if we do mess up, to be responsible, acknowledge that we messed up, and be like, how do we stop this from happening again? And I think that's where it starts. You know, you can't predict all the pitfalls that are going to come along, but you got to be willing to tackle those pitfalls as they come and create solutions so that they don't happen again.
No, that's good, man. I think one of the best analogies I've ever heard, and it's Laneem just said, tools and tech aren't inherently good or bad. It's how they're used. And I agree. The analogy I've heard is water. You take something as basic as water. You know, you can use water to bathe, to quench your thirst. You know, water is really, there's a lot of life that can come from water, but yet and still people can be drowned with water. People can be tortured with water. Exactly. So that doesn't make the water bad. And we can't necessarily say that people shouldn't have access to water because of these bad things. But because we know that there is good that can come from it, as you just well said, we go ahead and go with the intention and the belief that the more good is going to come from this than the bad. Totally. Absolutely. Y'all give Abdul some hearts, man. Give him some love. This has been great. Bro, we're going to have to talk about ways STEM media can leverage some of this, man, because I know that there's a lot of STEM education, as we talked about medicine even, but there's a lot of STEM education that can come from this. And I one of my friends, I think recently, Justin Schaefer, even mentioned about how, like, you know, whoever can figure out how to engage beyond the talking head at this point is going to win, you know, and VR and AR, I think, is the answer to that. You know, not that this isn't valuable. I know y'all are getting value from this, but can we just imagine, man, like if we were able to like sit across from each other virtually, you know what I mean? That would really be dope, you know? In AR,
it's a lot closer than you think. It's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, this has been great, man. I always feel like the best conversations go by so fast. But if you can, go ahead and let us know a little bit about, what's to come. What are people who are watching this, whether again live or on replay, what can they go and follow you and keep up with Innovate Tech? And what are some things that you would love us to do as we continue to try to move forward and innovate in this realm?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Innovate Tech is our Instagram handle. You can also find us on YouTube, and we have our website at CVR. That's spelled with the number 8, EEVR.com. You'll see all the different little projects that we work on there. And some of the exciting things, I mean, we have a lot of projects. Like I said, we have things that are coming up with regards to charity work that we're really excited about. We have an event that is soon to be rescheduled with a special guest by the name of Gary V.
Okay. I think I heard of that guy.
I hope. So we have a couple of really exciting projects that are coming out that I think will really showcase the power of VR and AR. And there's one thing that really bothered me that I just didn't get a chance to address, but I think someone had a question with regards to marketing and brands.
Oh, sure, yeah.
What my brief thing was VR and AR are just powerful tools for marketing. There's new ways of you create intimate experiences for people, and you're able to also use sustainable methods to market. And people, when they think of marketing, they think of a very linear approach where ad, consumer business, no. Whereas the world is so intertwined and there's different merging intersections of, content and experience and revenue and sponsors and advertisers. And we just want to be the nucleus of that, where we can take all this, create unique experiences for whatever thing you want to have, and then be able to market on that depending on what the needs of the client are. So marketing and branding, huge in AR and VR. I think you're going to see a lot of that in the AR aspect. So look forward to it. Lastly, in terms of just, work and things that we have coming along as well, we're like I said, we're finishing up some of our funding rounds for this month. So if we have any investors out there that are interested in being part of a movement, that want to help out, and if any people have any ideas for unique projects, I mean, we're all ears. We don't know everything. We haven't thought about, or through all the potentials of how VR and AR can be useful. So if you definitely have an idea or a suggestion or a question, if something could work, feel free to, shoot Innovate Tech a message, and we'll be more than glad to chat with you. See what would happen. I mean, this is a work that's for everyone, man. We want everyone to be involved in it.
Got you, man. Well, listen, I just want to affirm you. I appreciate you for coming. You already know we got more conversations to have. But before we get out of here, in this last minute, man, as Instagram counts us down for the hard stop, literally, we got 20 seconds left. Give us some parting words of wisdom, man, really quick.
Man, awesome. Parting words of wisdom.